Hello friends, here we are for my pantry video, my Pantries video. And if you watched the last video, I explained a little bit about the pantries. And you see I'm still in the same clothes because I just shut off the camera from the last video and I'm recording for this one. So, 3 pantries. In case you didn't see the last video, I have 3 pantries. I have a working pantry. That is your pantry you're working from every day in your home. Then I have the overflow pantry for things that when your working pantry starts getting depleted, you go to your working pantry, you pull things upstairs for that. And then there's the long-term storage pantry, and that's for long-term things. You know, you never know if you live where you get hurricanes, tornadoes. You never know when a storm's coming up. It's going to knock out your power, you know, what damage it does in your area. So it's always good to have things on hand. You never know when you're going to come into a crisis like we've come into with the whole pandemic that's been going on. So even last spring, I started upping my overflow pantry a little bit so that I'm not having to get out to the store. I'm only going out when I have to go out now. So my overflow pantry has actually grown, and so that's what I'm going to show everybody. Then your long-term storage is when you run out of your working pantry and your overflow pantry and things are gone, then you go into your long-term storage. So yeah, I'm going to show you all of those things. So I just repainted and reorganized in my laundry room and including my pantry in there. And so my pantry, when I've showed it in the past, it used to be really stocked full of things because my working pantry was also my overflow pantry. But now, because of the pandemic, like I said, I've expanded the overflow pantry. And so now my working pantry it looks like there's not so much in there, but when I run out of things, then I go to my overflow pantry, if that makes any sense. So let me show you. Okay, so this is my laundry room. This is my pantry. And I don't have lights in here, so the only lighting I get is just from the light that's here in the pantry. So up here on this top shelf, the shelf is so close to the ceiling, I can only put, you know, like a row of things up there. It goes back, but then you can't see what's up there. So I just have a row where I can see everything. And the rest of it's really wasted space. So this is my working pantry. This is for everyday cooking, you know, all the things that you use every day on a daily basis. I had a few things that spilled and I cleaned it off the best I could, but it's wood, so it doesn't get rid of all the stains or anything. So, and the pantry goes back over here a little bit. So I have all of that, and then down here, so I'll just basically show you. Snack things are here. Josiah is, he's a fitness trainer, and he also still has another job, but he's also a fitness trainer, and he's doing his nutrition. He's going to be a nutritionist, and so he's got all sorts of things. So I saved a little area for him there. And then this is just some of the 10-pound cans that I use. Like these are blueberries that we use them in pancakes and everything. So things that I don't use that much, I put over this way. I put the lemonade over here because now summer's about over. I won't be using lemonade too much. So over here, this is where I have like all baking things that I need when I'm baking and cooking and that sort of thing. I have here, like we just used some of these Knorr packets. We have the cheddar broccoli. That's really good. I'm going to get more. And so little things like this I put here. This is couscous. This is matzo balls, soup mixes. Whenever I make a casserole that I need, you know, the Jiffy corn muffin stuff there. All the different kinds of salts and stuff I have there. Here's like all my olives and soups and canned beans and things like that. Bouillons. And this is the sauces and tomato paste when I'm making homemade sauce. And then this container back here is extra steak sauce and Worcestershire sauce. I gotta tell you this, I think it's so funny. I have watched I don't know how many people here recently this summer that they're doing cooking videos and they're putting in Worcestershire sauce. See how it just flows off my lips? Worcestershire, Worcestershire. And the people, and they can't pronounce it. Have you guys been seeing that when people are, you know, using that in an ingredient, as an ingredient in something that they're baking, and they try saying, and then they'll say, I don't know how to say it. That's how you say it, Worcestershire. Worcestershire. So anyway, yeah, I think it's funny. So it cracks me up every time. So anyway, getting back down here. So that last container is Ritz crackers. We use them for snacking, but we use them, you know, like in casseroles and that too, and then Bisquick. And then I have panko crumbs, breadcrumbs, and I have them where they're vacuum sealed too. And then in this basket is where I keep like all my nuts and stuff. I have an extra bag of coffee there. And then this is instant mashed potatoes, pancake mix, and then all my different pastas. I have see some pastas back there too, and I have minute rice in there, and then I have my matzo meal when I'm making matzo balls and things like that. Then down here is all the various rices, like basmati rice and parboiled rice and all the different rices. So I have those there and in this one too. And then in this one I have like beans and legumes and things like that. And then I have vacuum sealed jars in another container back there that have like trail mix and things like that. And then I have my oils there, and I have my vinegars there. Okay, so that's for that pantry there. Then up here I just keep all the cereals and oatmeal and everything in this basket here. And I got to organize this. This is when I clean my kitchen really good. I got to come in cabinets and reorganize. So this is one of the things I have to reorganize. So up there are all different spices. When my little jars run out, this is where I fill them up from those. These are all my sprinkles and things for when I'm making holiday cookies. In here is peanut butter, sunflower seeds, the light corn syrup, the dark corn syrup, molasses. This actually belongs up there. I have maple syrup back there. I keep this little jar of oil when I'm oiling and seasoning my iron skillet, because it doesn't take a lot of oil and I don't want to have to go grab the big jar of oil just to do that. And then rice. See, this doesn't belong here either. People have been putting things in wrong places. This is my little recipe box, my flaxseed back there for my yogurt, and this is just an overflow again of some more seasonings and things. And then let's go to my cabinet so you can see my seasonings. This really needs to be organized. Look at that. But the thing is, this cabinet, you see how it goes on an angle, so it's not straight? And so it's really hard to organize in here, and I just get so frustrated. But yeah, so there's all of that. And my measuring cups and things are here. Extra teas are there. My waffle maker thing, there's another tea that I couldn't fit there that I had put up there. But yeah, I got to get all this organized. So all of this is what I call my working pantry. Oh, I got to show you this, my little Amish ice box. It's not an ice box, but it's designed like an old-fashioned ice box. It's just a little storage cabinet. So I'm going to show you what's in there. And then, of course, you know, I have my 2 freezers and that sort of thing too, so I always keep that stocked. So this is my little storage cabinet here. Basically in here, in jars, I keep honey. I keep dehydrated potatoes and mushrooms, all of that sort of thing. I keep, this is my yeast when I'm making bread. I make bread a lot. This is, you know, some Cheese Whiz sort of things. My daughter drinks all of this stuff in her water. But again, more seasonings here. And then here I have more dehydrated seasonings there. This top shelf is just, you know, kind of like a junk storage area. So I have all of that. Then down here is just all my glass jars. I don't like to keep these glass jars in my pantry, the closet that I showed you, because as things get moved around, people going in there if they're looking for things, you know, if one of those jars is sitting on the edge or something like that, it's going to fall to the floor, and I don't want to be cleaning up glass. So all glass is in this pantry here. So now let's go downstairs and let's see my overflow pantry. Okay, so we'll start over this way. That door leads to my storage room. And if you watched in the last video, I got rid of a lot of things that really we don't store a whole lot in there anymore, but my long-term storage is in there. This shelf, I used to put my canning jars as I was using them and they were clean. I used to store over here, and then I stored some in the storage room over here. But I've done a lot of organization down here, especially because of the pandemic. So this shelf area here is basically my freezer, Ziploc bags, and trash bags. I have more trash bags there. Sandwich bags here. More parchment paper, things like that. And then all my disinfectants. Remember, disinfectants are hard to find and everything too. Extra alcohol, extra hand sanitizer and things like that. And extra masks down there. And then I have gloves here. And now this stuff, you can get it pretty easily at the store. And I would get it because, you know, we're moving into the fall, colder weather. Flu season's going to start. And things are probably going to get really ugly because COVID is still out there. The thing is, a lot of this stuff is very expensive, so it's ridiculous. I got my mask online from a Jewish organization that's located in Florida, and what I paid, I think like $9 something a box, where you go to Walmart for a box for the same count of masks. They want like $17, $18. So I have still plenty of masks, but I'm thinking I might place an order just to get a few more. And I won't be getting them at Walmart. I've seen them at Walmart, and it's like, should I get them or not? And it's like, why should I pay almost double the price? So I'm just going to order. Let me see. Gloves, it is still hard to find the latex gloves. You can find a lot of hand sanitizer now, and I would stock up on that. I have quite a bit, but I might get a little bit more. And I really have a lot of the disinfectant sort of things. But the fact of the matter is we don't know how bad things are going to get, you know. And the shelves at the stores are not keeping up with things, and they have limits on things. You know, even over at Aldi, at least our Aldi, they started to limit how many canned goods you can buy. Now, where we live in Pennsylvania, there's an Amish store. It's called Sharp Shopper. And if anybody ever watches Jay Morrell, she lives in Virginia, and they have some Sharp Shoppers there too. And those stores are great. Now, their canned goods are like 10 cents more a can than they sell at Walmart, but they have a nice variety of canned goods, and there's no limit. Like, you could buy enough to fill a truck and haul it out with the truck, and they'll let you take it because that's the kind of store that they're wanting to deplete all the inventory and everything. So we've been going to Lancaster. That's our closest Sharp Shopper. And so we've been going there and picking up things, you know, here and there. Now, I want to say this. Pay attention. Because people, they get upset. They'll say, you're hoarding toilet paper. You're a food hoarder. Okay? Now, hoarding and prepping are not the same thing. Prepping is people getting things because they're just using wisdom. You know, any kind of an emergency can come about, and would you be prepared if you couldn't get to the store? So over a period of time, you see, that's the key. Over a period of time, when I'm doing my regular grocery shopping, I pick up a little extra here and there. okay? Where hoarder just goes out and hoards stuff, which is what happened during the pandemic because people saw then how bad things were getting. So because this is why you prep. See, if they would have prepped ahead of time, they would have had things that they wouldn't go to hoard things. You see what I'm saying? So also preppers, and I'm not really a prepper, like when you see preppers and homesteads, that's not me. But I do have pantries that are working pantries, and for the reason of an emergency, you never know what's going to happen. I will just tell you quickly here. A couple things that have caused me during my life to make sure that I have preps on hand that you never know. When we were living in Virginia, we were in a blizzard down there, and all of our appliances, everything, our heat, our stove, refrigerator, everything was electric. We had no gas, anything. And when the power went out there, we had no hot water, we had no heat, you could not cook. And when I knew the storm was coming, just something inside me, and it's always God that's talking to you, telling you, go do this. So just something inside said, go to Costco and go stock up on things. And when I was stocking up on things, basically what I got were things that I could just open a can, or open a bag, or whatever, or like I bought lunch meat and stuff too. I was able to save that by putting it in coolers and putting it outside on my deck in the snow. And we did that with our milk and everything, and it kept everything cold. But that's what it was, just like something was saying, don't get things that you need to cook. You have to get things that you don't need to cook. And it kind of taught me a lesson, and it brought me back in my mind to things that my mother and my grandmothers would tell me. My grandmother, my dad's parents, they were married in 1925 and started having my two aunts in the 20s. And then my other aunt was born in the 30s. My dad was born in 1941. And so my grandparents, they went through the Depression with small children. My other grandparents were teenagers that lived through the Depression because then they got married in the early 40s. My mom was born in 42. But you hear all the stories, and especially from my dad's mom, my grandma. She's the one that even got my mother to start canning and everything. And she would always say, because you never know. See, because they had that mindset that they remembered the Depression. They remembered when food was scarce. They remembered that if you got your hands on any vegetables or anything like that, you canned it, you preserved it, that you saved it for the winter, and things like that. And I grew up canning with my mother. So I did all of that. When I first got married, I stopped canning. Because, you know, you just run to the grocery store. Grocery stores were popping up all over. And, you know, it was just easy to go to the store. But when we had that blizzard in Virginia, that woke me back up. And I was like, I remembered the things that my grandmother would say. You never know. And when you have your power out we had it out for 3 days. But it seemed like almost forever. Because when you got little children and everything, your house is cold. It was really bad. Some people were without power even longer than we were. So anyway, you never know when things are coming. Did anybody think at Christmas time last year we would go into the new year and this pandemic would come on us, this COVID virus? Did anybody ever think that that would happen? And it's hit the economy now, and things are becoming more expensive at the store. We went to Walmart a couple weeks ago, Carly and I. We spent $288, and I was looking at the bags in the cart, and I was like, whenever I've spent this amount of money, I've had a whole lot more than what's in this cart right now. So the next day we went to Sharp Shopper because I wanted to get some more canned goods and things like that. We went to Sharp Shopper, and we bought a whole bunch of stuff there in comparison to the day before at Walmart. And I only spent $252 at Sharp Shopper, and I got a whole bunch more stuff. One thing that I got was like, it was a 25-pound or a 50-pound bag of oats because we go through a lot of oatmeal. So it even included that. So yeah, things are getting more expensive everywhere. All these prices are going up. Walmart's prices are going up. Food is not readily available on all the shelves, you know. So we have to be smart in this time. So that's why I'm showing you this video. Now, I prep. I prep ahead of time because you never know. I'm not a food hoarder. I just am smart, okay? Because I've lived through some things. My grandparents lived through some things, you know, and they tell you all the stories. Horror stories. If your grandparents went through the Depression, sit one time with your grandparents and talk about the Depression and let them tell you the horror stories of the Depression. Very bad. So anyway, this pantry is my overflow pantry. I showed you my pantry upstairs. When things run low in that pantry, I come down to my overflow pantry. Then when I'm depleting things from this pantry, that's when I can go to the store and pick up a few things here and there to replenish here. My long-term storage, those things can last longer, okay? So now I'm going to turn around. Here we go. And for all of you that have been with me a long time and you've known my basement, what it looks like and everything, know that we had a bed over here that we took down, and it's actually my storage part of my basement here, which I'm going to put that on like the marketplace, the Facebook marketplace. I'm going to give it away free because I really don't need it. It was pretty basically new too, so somebody's getting a nice bed it was hardly ever slept on. So anyway, yeah, so this is one shelf, so let me just show you. I go to Costco and we keep these on hand for when we don't want to make a whole pot of coffee. And I keep extra chips and things here. I have this because we make Chex Mix in the fall. I have extra pastas here. This is barley here. This is more corn meal, and I have them in vacuum sealed bags. If you have a vacuum seal, it's good to do that because they'll keep longer. This here is, and here's one right here. See, it's in a vacuum seal bag. I have more corn muffin mix. I showed you the one that I have upstairs. At one time, I used to put like all of these up there, but now I'm, you know, just doing it this way. So this is a brownie mix, corn muffin mix. These are like pie fillings, like if we have cheesecake or something. I have panko crumbs and some more cheese for spaghetti, some lemon juice, some extra Jell-O, some cocoa, more molasses here. I have semi-sweet chocolate chips because we're coming into the holidays. That's the other thing too. We're coming into the holidays, and so if you look at your store and see what your store is like, shelves not carrying a lot of things, you might want to do some planning ahead. What is it that we normally have as far as holiday baking and things like that? And I would just go to the store and get those things now. Me, that's what I would do. But what you do, you know, you have to do what you want to do. But anyway, we do make a lot of chocolate chip cookies and things like that. So I have those. I have milk chocolate chip cookies here. That's semi-sweet. We don't use a lot of butterscotch chips, so that's why I only have one bag there. And we don't use that much white chocolate chips, but I have them here. Back in here is, these are from Sharp Shopper. These are my brown sugars. I have some powdered sugar here. This is some extra sugar that I had from a big bag that I put in here. I have all my condensed milk, sweetened condensed milk, evaporated milk, maraschino cherries, all those extra things there. I have a whole bunch of salt here. This is basically breakfast, like extra cereal, oatmeal. These are protein bars. These are little snack things. I got a Sharp Shopper. These are pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds, more cheeses, more Karo syrup. These are dates. My nuts I keep in my freezer. I do not store my nuts here in a pantry. They will last longer if you keep them in the freezer. I have lots of pancake mix from here all the way to here. These are just snacks. I have maple syrup, lots of maple syrup. And this is good maple syrup. This is like original maple syrup. And this is the stuff that has like Karo syrup in it and everything that you get from the store for pancakes. Then I have some oats here. This is a little bit from the Sharp Shopper bag of oats that we had overflow we couldn't put in our buckets. We like eating a lot of Triscuits, so we have Triscuits and things here. Matzah's here. I have to take one of these up because I used the last of my crackers yesterday. So see, I don't have to go to the store. I just come down here. So I put that there. I'll take that up. Then down here, more snacks and cookies, more peanut butter, vegetable sprays. My honeys are all back in there. More, this is caramel, sweetened condensed milk, some Crisco. We have some more oats back there from Sharp Shopper, instant mashed potatoes, things like that. The raw cane sugar. I started using this in my tea. It's better than the granulated sugar. It's a little bit more healthy. So started using that. And then down here at the bottom is like all my extra oils and things like that. And another bag of flour over there. These crates are here to put onions in, and butternut squash. We'll be getting those in probably October. We go to the orchard, and I'm going to have a shelf put outside in my garage, and I'm going to have these on the shelf. So it'll all be out in the garage with my potatoes and all of that. Remember, this pool table and under the pool table and around the pool table was loaded with all of these things, and over on my bar too. So now I've got to stock up on my pet food. Remember back in the spring I showed you all my pet food? This is the last bag. So when I started buying pet food up, I don't know, March or whenever, this is the last of the bags there. And then I have some water there. Over here I have flour. And my flour, I have shrink wrap that I use for like wrapping up my Christmas trees. I wrapped my flowers really good. These are some flowers that I bought back in the fall when it was, not in the fall, in the spring, when it was hard to even find flour at the store. And then extra sugars here. This was loaded with a bunch of things too. Now I'm just going to keep, my cats eat this as a treat. I'm going to get some more boxes of this here, and our dog's cookies, we're going to get more, and so we'll keep the pet stuff up here. Okay, so back here, these are all my dehydrated foods that I have bought from Emergency Essentials and Augustin Farm. Those are the two places that I order my things from. Some people go to Thrive, or there's other places that you can get things too. And then in this box is just more cans of the vegetables. But I've tried to organize everything. So these are all fruits. These are all the dairy, like sour cream and butter, things like that. This is all the vegetables. So when I start running low of cans there, I can go into this box here. And that's dehydrated meats. Then I have more flour. These are the big bags of flour. And again, you couldn't find it. So whenever I found flour at the stores, this is 25 pounds, I bought it. And then I just put the shrink wrap around it. Paper towels, you know, I don't go to the store that much anymore. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But my son Adam, he's still over at Walmart. And so he'll pick up a bag of, or a package of like paper towels or toilet paper from time to time. So these are, so again, you know, we didn't hoard all of this, loading it up in a truck or anything. No, this is just from months of just stocking, okay? So we got paper towels here. We have toilet paper here. These toilet papers, I'll tell you how old these are here in a sec. So those are old. Those are when we really started prepping a lot, I want to say, probably about 2010 when we started to, you know, increase like the prepping things that we had. And those toilet papers are from then. That was what I considered my backup toilet paper. But I used to have a bunch of things behind the bar here, canned goods that were stacked up and everything that was kind of buried. So now I have another shelf, which I'll be showing you that. But here, this is just more like napkins and paper plates and styrofoam cups, things like that. Then over here, this is our other shelf. And this is where I put a lot of canned goods and condiments and more seasonings and things like that. And these big 10-pound cans, they have these over at Walmart. I have them with green beans, I have them with carrots, and I have them with corn. And these are the carrots right here. So I have fruit here and here. My overflow of soups is right there. Olives, we use a lot of green olives and black olives, so olives seriously go all the way back here because we use a lot. And then these are all just extra canned goods here. I try to always keep 12 mayonnaise at a time because we go through a lot of mayonnaise. I mean, seriously, we can go through one of these in like 2 weeks. So, you know, when we run out, I always get more. And what I do, we take from the front, then when you buy more, you push everything to the front and your new ones go to the very back. So you just rotate everything and then your foods don't go bad. In this box here is an overflow of like jams and jellies that I pick up at the orchard. These are all extra seasonings and bouillons, and we have extra barbecue sauce. When we went to Sharp Shopper, we got this. This is the Pioneer Woman's barbecue sauce. I've never tasted it, but I like Reed Drummond, so I'm sure it's good. So, you know, we bought some. Extra ketchups, mustards, things like that. Extra pastas over here. Noodles and things like that. We have extra beans over here, lentils here, but we have them in here and in here too. These are extra teas. This is extra powdered sugar. So this is, like I say, this is my overflow pantry here, okay? All of this here, all of this over here. So when I run out of things, like you saw me pull the crackers from the shelf here, and so I'll take that upstairs. So then see what you do, you pull this up. So the next time I go to the store and I put crackers on my list, then it goes back there. See? And then that's how you rotate. So this is the overflow pantry. Now let's go into the long-term storage pantry, and I'll show you things in here. Okay, so this is basic condiments and stuff, and more bouillon, things like that. We have more paper towels up here and napkins up there. We bought this over at Sharp Shopper as well. This is 10-pound cans of cherries. So, I mean, you wouldn't use all of this at one time, but like if you wanted to make a cherry pie, and then the rest of the cherries that you'd have left over, find something else to do with it, another dessert, you can probably put it in the freezer. So these were only $4.99, so that's why I bought them. And sauerkraut, green beans, all things like that. These are all things that we use. More canning lids, more canning lids. I have canning lids in another cabinet too. And then there's all the canned goods of things that I have canned. And we have actually been eating from our canned meat and from our canned green beans, canned carrots, and things like that. We've been eating a lot of all of this. So this is mostly like the tomato sauce and meats, canned meats here. Canned beans are there. I think that's more canned meat. I try to keep all the canned meat over here. This is canned chicken and all of that we bought. A lot of this sometimes we use for our dogs. Boxers have an issue with their digestive system. So once a day they get like canned chicken and they get like canned carrots and things like that. So in case anybody's wondering why I have, you know, so much even like canned carrots and beans and stuff, because see like this here, because they eat that. I have grape juice that I canned from my grapevine there. I have 6 of these pails. You don't open these up. This is like the last resort. All your foods run out. This is it. I forget how many days worth of food is in a bucket, but I bought, 6. So like every person in the family had one. More napkins and things like that there. Okay. Remember I used to have all my Christmas over here. Well, this is still, all of these kinds of things, when I would walk in here, all of this was over here. You couldn't even hardly walk in. It was just getting too cluttered. So I put everything over here in these trash cans here. One has rice, one has sugar, and one has flour. Okay, let me tell you about this. When I was checking on my flour to see how the flour situation was going, so when it was hard to find it in the spring, that if things were really bad and you had to make bread and things like that and I couldn't get flour, I had the long-term storage flour, not that flour, okay? This long-term storage flour, you know, you can keep flour. I've heard people say you can keep it 20 years if it's wrapped properly and stored properly, or even in buckets with the oxygen absorbers. What I did with my flour, I brought it home and I put it in seal meal bags and I got all the air out of it. Air you have to get away from your food. You have to keep your food in a dark, cool place. And like sometimes here in the basement, especially in the summertime, it can get humid. So I have a dehumidifier out there. It's just turned off right now so you wouldn't hear it. And I have one right there. So it keeps all the humidity out, okay? And then your foods, they will last a long time. Well, when I was checking on my flour, I opened up the flour container there, and immediately I started smelling that smell of flour, because there's, you know, this whole garbage can full of it. And those garbage cans, I bought them brand new. They were brand new, nothing was ever in them. I bought them specifically to hold all of these things, and I can put the tight lid on it and everything. My parents, they bought flour and sugar back in the mid-70s when there was the economic crisis that was going on, and gas even went up really high and everything. And so again, the depression stories, you know, they start coming back to your memory. My parents bought a whole bunch of flour and sugar, and that's how they did it too. But they used the metal garbage cans, and they stored everything in there. When my parents went to move, they moved, I think, a year after we did, so like 2008. They found all that flour and sugar. And so my mom opened it up. There were no bugs. Everything was really good. She says it wasn't real fresh, but it was still good. Like she tasted it and everything. And they used it. And they bought that in 1976, 2008. So it was like 30-something years old, that flour. And it was still good. They used it. That's why I say food can last. Certain foods, they can last a long time if, and only if, you are storing it properly. And the number one thing that will make your food go bad is if you have lots of air in it. Not good. So anyway, that's just that story. So over here, yeah, so I got my rice, flour, sugar. I have milk here. I have wheat here, more milk here. These two containers have the oats that I bought from Sharp Shopper. These are instant meals that all you have to do is add water. I did these. Linda's Pantry, you know, she was doing this several years back. And she said if you use your vacuum seal, which I did, that these can last about 7 years. And I think that's about how old these are now. So these are things that I'm going to actually start using right now. In here, in these bins, I think I have more like beans and lentils, things like that. I have extra cleaning supplies over there, and then just more canned goods of things that I've canned, and things that I have bought, like this is from Sharp Shopper, 79 cents a can. So this is just kind of like a mixture of all different sorts of things. And then here's the bed that we got to get rid of. So anyway, so I was telling you guys in my last video, if you watched, that I got rid of a lot of my Christmas, that this here, this is really all left of my Christmas decorations here. And I have this tree, and then my one container with my fall decorations. That's it. So when I say that's it, that's it. Yeah, we store water. We have extra water. We have more water over here, and we have it in the drums. Again, think of it this way. No matter where you live, to turn on your water, it needs, like we're here with a septic, so we have to have a pump. You have to have the electric to turn the pump on. Okay, sorry, so battery died. So I was talking about what happens if your power goes out. Where we live, our water is a well, okay? So, the water's not going to get pumped out if the electric's not on, okay? Because it's powered by electric. So I know even in cities and that sort of thing, I think if anything very serious were to happen, you know, waters could even be affected there. It's just always a good idea to have extra water, so we have extra water. So basically, that's what I wanted to share with you guys of my pantry, how I do everything, how I used to do it. My working pantry, overflow pantry, was upstairs. And then if I ran out of anything, I would run downstairs here to my long-term storage area, and that's where I would get things. But like I said, during the pandemic, because shelves were becoming bare and it was hard to get things, and I showed you guys back in the spring when I was going to the store and stocking up on things that we use a lot of, I filled everything up on my pool table and all of that. And so that's, you know, it's not organized for me, you know, so that's why I got, you know, some other shelves here. In my last video, I'm talking about, you know, my husband and I were talking about maybe moving, maybe downsizing and that sort of thing, but we've kind of held off on that, any decision of what we're going to do, because I know people would probably say, especially if you watched that last video, what would you do with all this food if you had to move and everything? Well, that's why you hire movers, right? And you get everything boxed up and, you know, the movers take everything to your new place. So there's that. The other thing is, you know, we could probably box up some things ourselves and take over in our vehicles to our new house. But the thing is, I'm holding off on moving right now. Just with everything that's going on in this world, and I mean everything, not just the pandemic, I'm talking about everything going on in this world. I just feel, stay put. Just stay put. So that's what we're doing for the time being, and if we do decide to move, everything will work out. Like I say, you hire movers, right? They're coming to move all your furniture and everything. They just box all this stuff up, move it too. So anyhow, yeah, and that's the thing. You'll probably have a question. Yeah, if you downsize, one thing is, if we move, I would want to get a home that has a basement. And I don't care whether the basement's finished or unfinished, just as long as it has a basement, you know, so that you can put everything back down here. So anyway, that's my pantry video. That's how I do everything. And again, I prep. All of this stuff wasn't bought at one time or within like a couple months. This has been like, some of this has been years and years of just getting things and rotating things and that sort of thing. So it's just something that I just, in other words, I just continuously do all the time, you know. Ketchup start getting low, I go and I buy more ketchup. That's why I have a lot of ketchup, you know, because we eat a lot of ketchup. We eat a lot of mayonnaise. We eat a lot of chocolate chips. We eat a lot of bread. I make bread, so I use a lot of flour and things like that. So when you use those things, then you have to replace it. You have to go get more. And it's just a continuous rotation for me. So anyway, that's my video, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you were able to learn something from this, of how, you know, you can rotate, how you can have things. And, you know, everybody saw what happened in the spring. We're heading into the winter, and I just don't think any good news is ever coming our way. I think we're in the midst of very bad things happening to this world. And I feel that it's not going to get any better. So really, you just have to do what you can. So anyway, that's all I wanted to share with you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.